You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? Indiana Fever fell on hard ground, lost to the New York Liberty, and basically just let them get ahead of them, really, 98-77. No Caitlin Clark, nowhere to go. And basically it was a formality, I would say, prior to the WNBA All-Star game. The Indiana Fever are going to have to be on a road to victory. The key test will be, does Caitlin play the All-Star game? Caitlin participates in the All-Star game, then we can get ready for the second half of the season. Again, you're going to open up with the New York Liberty again. So this is just New York Liberty back-to-back with a little All-Star game space in it. But the Indiana Fever really struggled a lot, and really struggled with their defensive rotations. That right there, that had me confused because, again, the defensive rotations are off so much that there's nothing you could do, and the Liberty just started laughing. I mean, it was comical to them. They just were like, hey, we're going to get this done. Let's have a good time tonight. Let's go ahead and win the ball game. 24-12, right out the gate, 32 points. That's going to put you on the board with the Liberty. And the Liberty are stacked, right? One of the best organizations, so the expectation was what it was. Here's what was surprising to me, folks, is I'm starting to notice. First thing, Stephanie White is a great broadcaster. I mean, after the game, you talk about a game breakdown. We're soft. We don't execute. What do we need to do? Stephanie White's a great broadcaster. Now, the challenge I have with Coach White is, while you're telling us everything the team's not doing, you're the coach. So who do we go to when you're doing this? As Stephanie White, you are perfect in your analysis, in your broadcast analysis of why the Fever didn't win the game. And she basically says, we're soft, we don't get into it, we don't play it. I'm like, how are you going to do it? Ari McDonald's is lost on the defensive rotation. It's like a deer in headlights. Like, where am I supposed to go? I mean, if we switch, here's what gets me, McDonald. If you put us in a switch, you got to take the man from the switch. You can't fall off and go, who do I guard, right? That's how bad it's getting out there for the Indiana Fever. Now, Caitlin's not playing, and people want to believe that you can win without Caitlin. I don't mind everyone having dreams. Money Mike's got to bring it back to reality. And I'll tell you what, Caitlin Clark, that plus 21, I mean, you could have used that tonight, right? Because you got to look at it. You get that plus 21 in the game. What do you got? You got a ball game now, right? You got 98-98, but you don't have Caitlin. And when you don't have Caitlin, see, here's another thing people don't understand. Caitlin's offense is the Indiana Fever's best defense, right? Because she knows when to go score. She knows when to get a bucket. She knows we're going to fall behind. There's so many intangibles that Caitlin knows. And you look at the board tonight, I mean, we'll look at the box score. I mean, you got Howard, minus 24. You got Boston, minus 19. I mean, these guys are just stacking the deck here. You got Mitchell's minus 22. Cunningham, but putting the starting lineup, was minus 25. And then you got McDonald, minus 14, right? And you got Timpson got in there for some quick minutes, 8. It's going to look like, yeah, Timpson's ready to go. Once you put Timpson in the game plan, she's going to be lost too. And then you got Lexi Hull. And here where I have a little concern. I don't know why it's happened, but it has happened. And there's two players really that are confused and even more confused, and that's Sydney Colson and Lexi Hull. And I don't know how you defuse Lexi Hull. Lexi Hull comes out right out the gate. Lexi Hull needs to have some individual sets run. She's probably third, fourth, fifth option at least. Ball gets in her hands, but the Indiana Fever is shrinking by the minute without Caitlin, which means you're shrinking the floor. The spacing, if you notice, is getting closer and closer and closer. Nobody knows where to go, so they're just right there in the circle and around. And so it's a long battle. Where do you go from here? You go to an all-star game. But I'll go back to President Kelly's comments, and I'll wrap up. It's time to take a break, Indiana Fever, and everybody else want to take a break. But you say you want to be like Apple. And if you want to be like Apple, one thing I can tell you about Apple, and AT&T and Apple worked hand-in-hand partnership, gave us an exclusive on the iPhone for the first 5 years, market entry, correct? So to bring it correct, to be like Apple and what President Kelly said, you're going to really have to do your software updates, right? Because if Caitlin's not playing, you can't run the same offense, right? You can't run the same defense. You got to switch that up. So, and the difference when you're on an Android system or you're going to be on an iOS, the iOS and Apple, the reason they're so really merged together with individuals' lives because of compatibility, right? You got FaceTime. Everybody's on the same page, but the cutting edge technology. When I look at the Indiana Fever and I look at Flatline, if they run what they're running now, which is the same offense with Caitlin and expecting the same production, folks, that's not going to happen. And you got to look at it and you got to put it in God's hands. I'm really faith-based, and I'm saying Caitlin's going to be fine. She's going to bounce out of this. And, once you've been injured or you made an injury, you really can't take it any further, right? I mean, it's already there. You strained it is what you basically did, and it's going to reach its points of healing, but you'll still feel the pain. Here's the point I'm trying to make. The Indiana Fever, if they want to have to win without Caitlin, and people believe you can win without Caitlin, and people believe the players that the Indiana Fever have can win without Caitlin Clark while Caitlin is injured and can replace the plus 21, you're going to have to do some software updates. You're going to have to do some downloading. You're going to have to make sure the players know what's going on, and you can't go there and say we haven't had a practice and you're at the All-Star break. I've seen a lot of pro sports head coaches do a lot of things. And for Money Mike, it's pretty simple, right? You got Coach Steichen as the head coach. Out of Sacramento, California, El Dorado High School, right? Went to UNLV. He's the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, right? And he's got two quarterbacks, right? He's got Richardson and he's got Daniel Jones, right? Well, you can't run the same system for both, right? Because both have different skill sets. And you gotta, if the Fever made an adjustment with Colson and Lexi Hole, even if you gave them a two-man game to run, you'd be amazed at what you can get out of that, right? Because I don't know why they've been frozen out, but they have. The Indiana Fever are gonna do some soul searching without Caitlin. But if you say we want to be like Apple, then, Apple sends out updates, and Indiana Fever have to update and make adjustments, because you will not be able to play the same offense and the same defense without Caitlin Clark. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. Took them down 98-77. Everybody be safe. It's All-Star time. Big moment. We'll find out if Caitlin's going to go. If she isn't, everything's marketed, all the commercials. Everything's lined up for Caitlin, so let's see if she'll get an opportunity to enjoy the festivities and participate. All things are possible to those who believe. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. For everyone, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for your support, and we look to continue to provide and get better and better each time we communicate with you. We'll see you soon. All things are possible to those who believe.